Hello everyone, today I'm just going to tie you my Pistol Leech. This is one of my most productive flies for the urban lakes, for the state lakes, for trout, for bass, for basically everything that swims. I've got some good smallies out of Woods Canyon with this, Willow Springs. I've done some good trout trolling at both Woods Canyon and Willow Springs. Over at Apache and Canyon, I've caught yellows and largies, smallies at Apache. This thing works everywhere. Reason for that is it's just a semi-seal, which most everything will eat a semi-seal leech, but it also has the propeller blade on top of that, so I'm going to get to that more towards the end of it. But yes, this is going to be based kind of off of just the Pistol Pete that you can buy at Walmart. I like this a little bit more because I tie them more durable, they last longer, and I can also tie exactly what I want. So starting off is I'm just going to do the semi-seal material. This is just black semi-seal. I'm going to tie this in with the material 50/50. My thread was placed right at the hook barb, and I'm just going to do a couple securing wraps here to help lock this in place. What I also want to tie for you guys, or what I'm going to show you, is more durable steps to making a semi-seal. So that's going to be the first one, is not only just tying it in, but also doing those securing wraps to help lock that tail in place so it doesn't pull out. Secondly is going to be critical here. I don't come all the way up to where the bead is, because what I need is enough room here to be able to push that bead back. This propeller blade will only spin properly if there's a blank section of the shank there, if there's nothing on it. That's how it spins, that's how it rotates. And that's how you get the most action out of it. Now, of course, this is just going to be a semi-seal, so you can tie any semi-seal variant pattern that you want, however you wish to do it. You can still do the dubbing wax on the thread and just dub it on as normal. You can use a wire. Personally, I prefer doing the inline dubbing technique, which is basically splitting your thread. As you can see, I have the thread split, and I'm going to put the material onto one side of the thread here. Now you can very easily put dubbing wax there to help keep it in place. I don't necessarily find that's necessary, because once this all gets wrapped up like a rope, it becomes a lot more durable. Now to get some more bulk out of this, go ahead and put a little bit extra more than you think you're going to need from the material, because when you wrap this up and it turns into a rope, it becomes a lot thinner. There's not as much bulk, there's not as much density to it. So you can go ahead and put quite a bit on here, more than I guess you would normally put on a semi-seal, which is also why I have a fairly big gap here, because I want as much material on here as possible, because it's going to do two things. The first, of course, it's going to create the body, so I want the thickness in the body. And secondly, I'm going to pick this out with a brush. So I want material that I can pick out and create that that semi-seal look to this. Alright, so I've got the dubbing noodle on the one side of the thread. I'm just going to close that loop, so that way the thread is on one side of the loop and the dubbing is on the other side of the thread. With the bobbin, I'm going to pull out roughly 5 inches or so. I'm going to spin my bobbin. Now it's a critical point to hold where the dubbing ends and where you have just the straight bare thread, because what you want to do is you want to twist this bottom section up, get that really tight, get it really spun up, so that way this section here, this rope section, can actually, it gets tighter, gets more dense, it turns into like a rope. Also helps when you're picking it out later that you don't lose any material. Makes it a lot more durable. I'm going to show you that here in a second. Okay, so I think that's enough. There we go. So you can watch other videos for this. Mark Petitjean does talk quite a bit with his CDC flies of creating this dubbing rope. He does it with CDC, but I'm doing with the semi-seal. Now, you have a lot of material here, and it's going to be very hard to put this back inside the bobbin. So if you have a rotary vise, just go ahead and use the vise, rotate that around the hook, so that way it gives you your mass, your bulk. And you don't have to do this in any particular way, but I usually start at the top where the bead is, and that's where I like to work back from. And I'm just going to do that enough times till I've established a body. Perfect. Now the fly is done from here. I mean, all I did was I just tied a semi-seal, so that's nothing new, nothing revolutionary. You know, just do a 3 or 4 turn whip finish to secure that. Now this is the important step here, and it is imperative to use either like epoxy or a gel superglue. You want something that's going to take time to cure, because what we're going to do is we're going to put the superglue right in between where the body and the bead is. But before we do that, we're going to come through and pick this out. Now this is the benefit for keeping that material in a rope on the thread. One, you're using less thread, doing like a dubbing noodle and then wrapping over and everything. And it also saves you from using like a wire or something like that. But just go ahead and go through, pick this out, make it look bushy and buggy and semi-seal like and whatnot, because I mean that's what that's going to look like. And then with a needle, like I said, come through with your super glue, just a little dab, and you're just going to coat the inside there. I usually prefer like a hackle, or I'm sorry, a hair packer or something for that, but your fingers will work as well. Just go ahead and cram that bead in there. Now you have your size 8 semi-seal with the blade. Thank you guys for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your day.